Hundreds have died, millions are on the run as Russia steps up its attacks on Ukraine. As the war continues, we're seeing a humanitarian crisis, people not being able to meet their basic needs as they flee their homes, trying to get to safety. Joining us this morning to talk more about this is Kent Annan, author and director of Humanitarian and Disaster Leadership at Wheaton College. Good morning, Kent.
Good morning, Casey.
So talk about this humanitarian crisis and people not being able to meet their basic needs as they literally run to get to safety. Are we there yet, or is it getting there in terms of them going without health care and hygiene and clean water and food?
I think it's right on the edge. There have been 1 million people, as many people know, who have fled as refugees so far. So imagine Poland is just a little bit bigger than Texas, 40 million people there, and they've received over 500,000 people. So it's a crisis now, but the crisis is just beginning, as you mentioned there. So it will continue to be urgent to have food, shelter, and safety for people as they come across.
Yeah. Well, talking about those neighboring countries, what does that mean for them, taking in just huge amounts of people?
Yes, you can imagine the logistics of taking in that many people, registering people, getting them to where they can go safely. So I've seen this when I was working in northern Albania during the Kosovo War, being in northern Uganda with Sudan. And in these places, it just means the system is overwhelmed, but also we see people are responding with a lot of generosity. And so they're just logistical challenges of getting everything that people need in those crises. And I think as we watch this, the burden really does land on the neighboring countries most of all. So we want to be supportive as a country and as people to those neighboring countries who are receiving everyone.
Yeah. In your mind, is there anything that we can do here in the United States to help those countries?
Yes, I always think if you're the praying type, then to pray. I think being generous and giving to places like the Red Cross, or if you have organizations locally that are helping, that's great. And then being ready to welcoming people who may come eventually in months or years down the road, I think is really important as well.
Yeah. As far as the people fleeing, what are some of the major concerns that they are experiencing and about to experience? A lot of them are on foot, experiencing freezing temperatures. Talk about some of that.
Yeah, I think of it in sort of 4 ways. One is if there are humanitarian corridors so that humanitarian aid can get into the country for those who are unable to leave for any reason, to get food and safety and, like you said, clothing to people. The other is, can people get safe passage out to the border to these neighboring countries? The third then is, as they arrive, providing the kind of essential needs that they have. And then in the weeks and months ahead, then transitioning so people can get medical care, so children can get into school, and there can be some sense of normality into transitioning what will likely be something that lasts for years.
Yeah. And last question here. It seems like here in America, we're starting to reach an endemic, but people fleeing their homes, they may get COVID-19. There's no masks.
Yes, that's something you have to think about the whole person. A lot of these people fleeing are women and children, so you think about those vulnerabilities, but you also need to think about health vulnerabilities for sure.
Right, that's true. Kent, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.